Hi, Sweet Pea.
Hi, Mo Bear.
Here we are with episode 13 of our good old Chit-Chats.
Yes.
And it's the first of our couples.
I know. We were slightly worried about having couples. Because
Not
we were like,
slightly.
how's it going to work? Because obviously you think, we might need 2 microphones. How can they listen or both at once?
I was massively worried about the admin of this.
Yeah, and also, are we going to get 2 dream gardens?
Yeah.
And are we going to have to be writing double?
Is this going to be 2 hours long?
Yeah, 2 hours. Oh my gosh. But it was absolutely brilliant, I must say.
Lovely
I had
dynamic.
so much fun because it was like having 4 people around the table chatting.
Yeah.
Just chatting about life and just... It was really nice.
It was
and really
nice.
Easy because then they would chat between them, and then we would chat between us, and so it just felt like one big family almost.
So we should say who it is.
Yeah, I have to say who it is.
This is Kay and Patrick from Church Gardens in Harefield.
Yes.
And they were on Gardener's World 2024 episode 25.
Yeah, with the most amazing garden, with the vegetable garden, which was kind of in diagonal shapes, very geometric.
Very geometric. And
it's amazing.
Patrick was the architect behind it all.
Yeah.
And we learned through this chit-chat how they work very well as a team.
Really
and Kay
well.
has these wonderful ideas and Patrick supports all of them.
Yeah.
And I loved the banter between them. Quite often Kay would say something and then would turn to Patrick and say, "Didn't I, dear?"
Yeah. And then Patrick would just go, yes. It was really, really nice.
It was a lovely chat. And like you said, it was like sitting around a table with family, really. It was so enjoyable.
Really easy.
I'll mention some of the noises that come up.
Yes, of course.
Because we're still working on our sound, our audio. But Mabel, their new puppy, she gets very involved and throughout. So she was originally put outside the door, and early on you'll hear her scratching at the door. So she came and joined the podcast. And then throughout she is throwing some shapes on the floor by the sounds of it.
It was really sweet because also they had this kind of, I think it was a bench next to the window behind them. So at one point Mabel was just on the bench, kind of perfectly framed between Patrick and Kay, and it was really, really sweet. You just saw her silhouette because obviously there was a lot of light coming through.
Yeah, it was a very sunny day for them.
It was
wasn't
lovely.
It? But not to be outdone, Hobbs gets involved as well. So she wakes up later on and she does her passive aggressive squeaking. And then also we hear Aideen pop in early on as well. And I think a couple of times through the podcast, unless that was Mabel. And we should mention that Kay refers to the girls a couple of times, and those girls are Kay and Patrick's 3 daughters. So there's Aideen and Diane, who are twins, and then I believe the third one is Maeva. And they're all very involved with Church Gardens as well. It's a real family-run operation.
In the tea shop as well.
The tea shop, which has produce from that amazing veg garden.
Absolutely. I'd love to go there. Can you imagine? And then walking around the gardens. And
we definitely are going
there. Lots of benches to sit down.
And we hear late on in the podcast at what point we are planning to go there, which is after a rather wonderful thing is constructed.
Yes.
We'll leave you to find out about that in the podcast.
Exactly. We're going to do
Patrick rolling his sleeves up again.
Yeah.
And we hear quite a bit about the restoration of those amazing walls, which was touched on in Gardener's World, but we hear a bit more detail from Patrick about these amazing arched walls. I think he said 33 arches that have to be restored.
Have to.
And they've had to go through all the planning permission for it because it's listed.
And they're beautiful.
The cost of it,
the
involvement, and the fact that this wall is a retaining wall as well as woodland. It's retaining a woodland behind. So a mammoth operation for them.
Yeah.
So we wish them all the luck with that.
Completely.
And the other thing I should say is, Sweet Pea, you did an amazing job of reining us all in, because quite often we all got a bit carried away with chat. And you very gently sort of pulled us all back in line and moved us on to the next point. So thank you. Thank you for your good work there. I was just rambling on with them, having a great time.
There were a lot of different routes we took throughout this chat. Well, let me put in the structure of the podcast as usual. Your garden boundary, shed or greenhouse, 5 ornamentals, 5 edibles, 1 favourite tree, pond or pool plus 1 plant, and then finally your favourite seating area with your ideal drink and 1 plant for that area.
Yep. And we got all of that in spades.
Yes.
So I think we should have a listen to this one.
Absolutely.
This is a good old chit-chat with Kay and Patrick.
Yep.
Welcome, Kay and Patrick, to a good old chit-chat.
Well,
thank you. Nice to meet you. Thank you for having us.
Nice to meet you remotely. Lovely to see you. We saw you on Garden as well. I think it was episode 25 of this series, wasn't it?
That's right.
Your
yes.
incredible garden in
Amazing.
Harefield with that geometric veggie patch. If you
Yeah.
call it a patch. Absolutely fantastic. You mentioned on the show that
That was Mabel at the door. Yes. Oh dear.
Oh.
Right. What should we do?
do you want to let her in?
That's really
Maybe that's easiest.
Do you want to
Yeah.
Excuse me a moment.
Oh, she's
Mabel is
so
a puppy,
sweet.
and she
Oh.
wants to be the gardener's world dog. So she probably wants to be on the thing. That's her ambition in life.
She's got a bit of stiff competition from Ned then, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, she's
That could be easy.
Sorry about
So-
that.
That's
Don't
all
worry.
right. No problem at all, honestly.
Not at all.
So you mentioned on the show that you thought this garden was going to take around 10 years to get sorted, and then you said it's taken a long 25 years.
Yeah.
Are you
And
at
it's
the
still
sorted
going.
stage? It's still going, is it?
Yeah.
What else is to be
I
done?
mean, a lot of the gardening as such has been done. There's still major restoration works to do to some of the garden walls.
Yeah.
So it's quite a project. So.
I saw I think on your website, possibly there were photos of them when you first arrived, and they were very hidden. Did you? Are they listed walls? Do you have to get sort of special permission to do anything to them? Or how
They
does
are,
it
yes.
work?
They're all Grade 2 listed.
Right.
We're on the Historic Buildings Register. It's a conservation
Okay.
area, green belt. So every sort of complication you could think of applies to this property, really.
So what's the
crikey.
process when you're trying to do up a wall? Do you have to put in for permission to change something, add something? Do you have to use reclaimed
Yeah, planning permission
stone?
for everything, planning and listed building consent for everything. It all goes through Historic England,
Right.
Okay.
GLAS, which are the Archaeological Society. So yes, it's all got to be checked and double checked, and then any work you do on sites is overseen. So.
And do you have to use reclaimed stone when you're redoing the wall?
We reclaim as much as we can from original walls, and then we do buy in reclaimed bricks as well, so to match
Right.
in. So we have to source those.
Did you have to source a lot, or did you have quite a lot of the old material?
Well, in all so far, probably about 25,000 bricks, I would say so far.
Okay.
Yeah, so quite substantial. So.
Just one or two.
Just want to say.
Yes. Yeah, the
And so-
section of wall we're doing at the moment, we've used up about probably 12,000 bricks on. So.
Wow.
Oh.
Okay. So how long is the wall in total then?
The orchard area is about 60 meters square, roughly, something like that. So we're doing a 25-meter section at the moment
Right.
that had more or less fallen down, completely disappeared.
Yeah.
So that's almost done now.
Okay.
That's
but
good.
we've done that previously as well, similar sections elsewhere, and lots of repairs to other walls. So.
Right.
We go one wall at a time.
Yeah.
Because
Can't do it all at once.
literally, it's such an expensive and major thing. So the first one we finished in 2011. All the walls in the kitchen garden are done, but we're working our way around the bigger walled garden at the moment. And then the final one to do will be the very special arcaded wall, which we might be able to start next year.
Yeah.
Right.
But we reclaim a lot of the bricks, so a lot of
Yeah.
them can be, which takes many hours, doesn't it,
does.
Patrick?
Yeah.
Cleaning them off, yeah. But
Oh,
you can
right.
reclaim
Oh,
quite
of
a lot.
course.
So, yeah.
Yeah. And so you said this special wall's the final wall to do. What makes it special compared to the others?
It's very old. It's early 1600s. It's a retaining wall, so the ground behind is about 2.5 meters higher than our garden.
Oh, wow.
And it's made up of 33 individual arches and niches. So we're not quite sure
Wow.
exactly what. I mean, Gardeners World did refer to this a particular special wall, but they didn't actually show the wall that
No.
Yeah.
they were referring to. They showed an ordinary wall.
A little bit of confusion there.
So how do you go
So-
about restoring something like that? I mean, I know you've got your architect background, Patrick.
Yes,
but-
I mean, obviously, I generally know how to do things as such, but I will need some expert advice from a conservation engineer as to how we go about this.
Especially with this one.
Right.
Oh,
The
yeah.
land behind is wooded, so there are many trees and
Wow.
lots of vegetation, so it's all impacting on the wall itself. So we'll have to work out how we protect that in the long term if we're actually going to get into restoring it and spending an absolute fortune doing it.
So you saved the best to last.
We have.
Yeah. I don't know if you've seen on our website, I expect you possibly have done, of early pictures of what things look like. But this particular wall, it literally has a wood on the top, and all the roots were all growing through the niches. Wow. So we had to start by dealing with that, and that's kind of taken 25 years, hasn't it? Mm-hmm. So it is relatively clear.
Basically, cut them down and cover them with black polythene so they die off, and then you can eventually pull them out. So without damaging the brickwork too much. So,
it's a long process, but now pretty much the roots are gone, aren't they?
Yeah, more or less. Yeah.
So and then we're thinking we might sort of progress arch by arch.
Yeah. Gosh, what an incredible project. Yeah. Are you blogging it or putting any details anywhere for people to follow along?
I mean, we do. Obviously, I think the girls do some Instagram posts occasionally about the actual wall works that's going on. So we haven't started on that particular wall just yet, other than just maintaining it as it is.
I keep like a sort of diary of what we've done. I did that right in the early years, and then since we've been a little bit prior to when we started opening in 2018, I started again. So I have quite a detailed record, and from that we've managed to put together some talks which we've done on the restoration, which we can give to people. And I am supposed to be writing a book, aren't I, dear? So
aren't I, dear?
It's on my list. It's on my list.
Yeah. I mean, so many questions on how you fit everything in, Kay, because another thing I remember from the show was you being asked how many gardeners you had, and you said it was all you. How do you fit in the time? We know how we cope with our little patch of land. How are you managing it? It's a serious question, by the way.
Yeah, serious.
Okay. Well, basically, I do literally work every possible hour out there that I can. Okay. But I do work as well. But I don't have, I'm a musician. So I teach and I play, and Aideen, my daughter, and I, we run a music school over here, which used to be a Saturday morning thing, but it's now in the evenings. So
what instrument do you play?
I'm actually a bassoonist.
A bassoonist?
Oh, cool.
So I'm actually, that's my first study rather than horticulture.
Yeah.
And then the horticulture has come along as a passionate a sideline to start with, and taken over a lot since then. So the way exactly the way my work is arranged, because I'm self-employed, I can start teaching late afternoon and I work in the evenings. So I basically work every evening. And we quite often have concerts at the weekends, but during the day, all the other available time, I'm outside. And then it's just a case of, I suppose, prioritising. So I know I have to be firm with myself, because although I'm a very naturalistic gardener, which you've probably noticed, I have to be, I might want to do a particular thing because I feel it needs doing, but I have to prioritise the thing that absolutely has to be done. So
we were only just talking about this week. For me, for example, I have to tackle the strimming on a semi-regular basis, because if I don't, all hell's going to break loose, and it's my least favourite job. It's on a very steep hill and it's quite dangerous. I hate everything about it, so I will procrastinate forever. I'll find every other little thing to do. Every cosmos is deadheaded.
Every single one, and that's a lot, like a lot.
I like deadheading cosmos as well.
It's so satisfying.
Quite cathartic, isn't it? It's one of the more enjoyable. I call it one of the pottering jobs. I like the pottering ones.
Nice.
But
yes, I think our hedges here are probably dealt with in a similar way. You put off with the big hedges and long hedges.
He doesn't
so you put off doing them as long as possible, really. Until
and then it just gets worse.
To do by them.
Exactly.
I should say, Patrick does those things. He does the hedges and he does the grass.
Nice.
All the other stuff like everything that you can imagine, really. But.
Yeah. It's a nice balance, isn't it? Yeah. You mentioned earlier about opening, because we saw I don't think they talked about it on Gardener's World, how you now have it running as a business and people can come visit, and you've got a tea shop, haven't you, and that kind of thing. Can you describe the layout and the situation that you have there?
Yeah, I mean, we have basically the garden itself is 3 acres as such, so we have got 3 individual gardens, sort of a kitchen garden, flower garden, and orchard. Okay. The tea room is located within the garden, so basically it's open on a Sunday afternoon. We can seat about 50 people or so in there.
Wow.
And we've got some covered external seating as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's quite a nice facility. And
so it's just on Sundays it's open?
Yeah.
Just on Sunday afternoons. Okay. So we did that in 2022, built the tea room.
And who runs that?
And we do this work ourselves. So we built the tea room. The family
our daughters, our three girls run it. So
yeah.
Oh wow! So it's a full family affair.
All the baking and cooking, and then they man all the servery and kitchens at the weekend. So
oh, fantastic!
Oh wow!
And also, I saw the pond that you have there. Was that already there, or did you build that pond?
We did that at the same time as the tea room. So while we were digging out the foundations for the tea room, we dug out the ponds. Obviously, all these things, again, have to be run past all the various authorities.
Really? Even just to dig a pond, you have to check?
Oh, gosh, yes, yeah.
Oh, crikey.
Because that was very interesting, because quite often our visitors ask us, did we have a plan for things, or did we know what we were going to do? And it does seem surprising, but an awful lot of it we did know what we wanted to do. And one of the things we always wanted to do was the pond, because this particular part of the orchard, this is our largest walled garden, and it's the remains of a Renaissance pleasure garden. It's an amazing place, which is why it has this arcaded wall, and it's like a shallow valley shape, and it has a channel that goes down the middle, and the channel is the original overflow from where the estate ponds would have been. So there are ponds that would have belonged to the manor house, and they still exist in very bad state. And then the water in the winter comes through at the top, goes down this channel, and used to then attempt to go down a pipe into a culvert to go onto the kitchen garden. And every year it would block up and flood. So we'd have effectively a large pond every year. And it's the perfect place for a pond. Yeah. So we all decided, including the lady who did our conservation plan, she always felt we should have a pond there.
Yeah, I mean,
and then
the
finally
natural grounds for winter stuff too.
It's
a good spot for it.
Yeah.
And how big is
lovely.
it? It looks pretty substantial on the photos.
How big is it?
It's about probably 18 metres, about 25, something like that.
Whoa.
Big.
Okay, well, that's big. That's very big.
It's enormous. That's a good swimming pool length.
Yeah.
Some good lengths in there.
You can swim in it, yeah. So it's very much a natural pond. It wasn't built as a proper swimming pond, but the way I've done it, it has masses of marginal plants. We have a shelf all the way around, and it's a very big, deep shelf on one side. So I've got hundreds of marginals planted in these massive aquatic baskets. There's about 56 varieties of marginal. And so it keeps the water nice, so you can swim in there, as long as you don't mind being amongst nature.
Fauna and flora.
I don't know how regularly you watch A Garden as well, but Tom Hoblin, the garden designer, was on this last one, and I was looking up about him, and he wrote a piece for The Guardian back in 2015 about natural swimming ponds, and he said that the way he set it up at home is he's got what looks like a fairly formal swimming pool by the house, and then the sort of regeneration pond is separate in a sort of more wilder area of the garden. And he was just describing it. It all sounded beautiful. And he said, and there we have frogs in there, newts, kingfishers come by, and you think, oh, that's lovely. Yeah. And then he said, and leeches. Are you getting leeches in yours?
I would imagine they're in there. I mean, the main thing I have to be a little bit careful of, and I don't say too much in front of the girls because they can be a bit squeamish, are dragonfly nymphs.
Oh,
so we have loads of dragonflies, and they're fantastic.
Oh, lovely.
If you know anything about them, the nymphs, they are quite they're quite voracious creatures. and they will go off to different things. And I have been known to feel something, and not exactly a nip, but something. And I suspect that's what it is.
So you are actually swimming in your pond?
Oh yes, yeah. And I have to weed in there, so I will go.
Oh, perfect.
I will go in with an enormous bucket and swim around and push the bucket, and then gather all of my pond weed, because every now and again you've got a bit too much pond weed.
Yeah.
And it's a good excuse to be somewhere cool if it's hot.
Yeah.
It hasn't been so hot this year.
No, it's been a really
not so good this
summer,
year,
hasn't it?
Yeah.
But do you know that does sound very appealing to actually just
it
get
is
in there
appealing
and weed. I would actually enjoy that. We've
Yeah.
got a small pond which isn't big enough for swimming in, although the dog has no.
You could sit in it.
Yes.
Just
to
cool down.
It's
I
not
do
hot, it's
quite
not a
often
tub,
just
but-
sit there and then cool off a bit and then carry on.
But we had an interesting squirmy thing in ours, and it looked awful, and it was just sort of wicking
really
across the
awful.
surface. And looked it up, and it's a black soldier fly pupa.
Yes.
And
yeah,
it
really
looked
good.
horrible. It looked like a
Yeah.
leech. We were like, wow, that's
Yeah.
nasty. And then found out that actually this is a really great insect to have, and
Really good.
compost and so on. So we were pleased to see that. So now you've got that pond where it used to flood. Is there still overflow from these ponds higher up? And then where does the water run off to? Or
there is. Yeah, it comes through. It's a bit more managed now because I've changed the way it sort of discharges from our garden into the culvert. So it's a bit more organised and doesn't get blocked, so we can actually look after it a lot better.
Yeah.
But it is running now after the rain we had in the last couple of days.
It's a bit like a bath with an
overflow.
Yeah.
Oh, lovely.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
Yeah, not jealous at all, are we, sweet pea?
No.
I'm conscious we've got to get on with your dream garden. But a question I had was, you talked about how the first thing you did was lay agricultural grade black plastic everywhere.
Yeah.
How, first of all, what is agricultural grade black plastic? And secondly, how long did you leave
Have it
down
down?
for? Is it just down permanently? Is it under the paths? How does it work?
I mean, that was in the kitchen garden area because that was completely overrun with brambles and perennial weeds and everything, small trees and things. So once we cleared it all, then put the plastic down. It's just basically a lighter gauge plastic as opposed to what you'd use as a damp-proof membrane in a house, for example. It's
Isn't it what they use for silage, Patrick?
yeah, it's a silage cover basically.
It's
really,
the same sort of stuff as you'd use for silage. So
Right.
it is quite thick.
and it comes in decent sized sheets, which
Sturdy.
is handy. So,
So you laid that
So-
everywhere
We did.
to suppress and kill, and then did you remove it, or you just kept it down? And
no, we
then...
removed it
Yeah,
as
then
we
it goes,
reclaimed
yeah.
various sections.
Yeah.
We took it up and then obviously
Got
did
it.
what we were going to do in there. So so it was very handy, definitely for some of it was probably down for 5 or 6 years, I would think, from when we actually did it.
Right.
So maybe the first bit might have been down a year or 18 months before we started working in a particular
Yeah.
area.
Yeah.
But yes, it certainly did the job because otherwise each year you'd have to sort of go back and cut it down again. And
Yeah.
Such a pain.
too much
Yeah,
work.
we can relate to that. And then, do you keep the black plastic under the paths, or do you pull it up there?
No, I've got a weed suppressing membrane under the paths, so I put that down and put hardcore and paving on top of it, so to stop the mud rising. So.
Any secrets? Because it looked weedless. All the paths looked amazing. It's a constant battle for us. What's your secret? Or did you do a heck of a lot of weeding before they arrived?
We should mention something, shouldn't we, Patrick?
Our secret is my sister.
We do have a secret weapon.
Fastidiously weeds everywhere.
Yeah, she'll be very pleased that this is being noticed because she's a
your sister,
very
Patrick.
tidy person.
Yes, it is. Yes.
Oh my gosh, what
she's
a useful family.
A bit sort of serious about weeding, so she doesn't leave anything. Once she starts on the section, she takes everything out.
Oh, wow.
She doesn't do plants, so she it's safest if she's on the paths, which she well knows. But she literally cleans everything out, doesn't she?
Oh,
Yeah,
she
she's
sounds
very
an utter
meticulous.
dream. Yeah, so we need Patrick's sister, and then as Joe said, we all need a Patrick because you create all these amazing things. It was so funny when Joe said that because actually we were watching and we go, oh, we need a Patrick, and then immediately Joe said it. Because you built all these fantastic things. There was that rainwater collection system, 6,000
That was
litre.
amazing.
How is that? And they seem to be solar powered. Is that right?
Yeah.
They're not solar powered as such. All they are is just plastic containers. Each take about 1,500 litres. and the rainwater from the various roofs just comes into them. So we put the pipework in.
Gravity-fed, Patrick.
Yeah, it's all gravity. It's at a lower level than the main buildings.
Yes.
So it just naturally flows in, and then it's got an overflow into our culvert again.
Yeah.
And then we have just a pipe system from a pump. So as soon as you turn a tap on, the pump activates. It just takes it around the kitchen garden.
It's an old central heating.
So it's quite basic. We just put a hose pipe in the end of the tap then, and do a particular.
And you've got taps around the garden, haven't you?
Yeah, we've got four taps.
The solar panels we've had them for years, but they aren't to do with the rainwater bit. They're just to do with giving a tariff and helping with our general energy levels.
Oh, okay. I see. Do you have any other solar panels, or is that just the solar?
No, that's it.
Yeah, because we're listed. You're not supposed to put them on the roof.
We couldn't put them on buildings.
Yeah. Is it a concern for you keeping the water clean, or do you clean them out regularly, or how do you manage your water system?
No, we haven't cleaned them out, actually. I mean, because the water's going through them all the time.
Yeah, it's always circulating.
Yeah, so the water that's pumped out is taken from the bottom of the tanks.
Yeah,
the fresh water comes into the top.
And they are covered, obviously. They've got a lid, so it's not quite the same as your normal water butt.
Yeah.
No.
And then they're just going to come out the tap the other end straight into a watering can, or maybe onto a hose pipe, and then straight into the ground. So any sort of other stuff that might be in there, it's probably just good nutrition.
For the plants, of course.
It's got a simple filter as it comes in to collect all any sort of debris that might come off the gutters. And stuff. So it's very simple.
Very simple.
I think that's what we need to be thinking about, is more the flow. That's a good point, actually. But,
having a circulation.
Well, loads more questions, but hopefully we can answer some of them through the Dream Garden.
Yes.
So I'm going to hand you over to Sweet Pea, and she's going to take you through it.
Righty-ho. So, to start your dream garden, what could be the dream boundary, so surrounding your garden?
That's kind of what we're doing. So our garden is our dream
garden. Really?
So,
perfect.
Many of the ideas that we have for that we've either done or they're up there waiting to be done. So in a way, it's the ideal thing, so you can carry on.
It's the future.
Because it is the dream garden,
Yeah.
So
before getting this garden, I mean, we had visited many sort of gardens.
Yes.
And the appeal of a walled garden was just fantastic. And
Always.
That stuck with us all the way through. So.
Yeah, we avidly watched the restoration programs about Heligan. And then when we came here, we thought, oh my goodness, it's like a miniature Heligan.
Yeah.
And it was a dream, exactly that. We felt very blessed to be able to have something like this. And it was only because it was so bad that we could afford it.
Of course. So with a walled garden, what sort of views are you getting?
Views outwardly.
Yeah.
Basically, we've got fields all around us. We're in the middle of a farm. So we've got
you might even be able to see from where you are.
Where we are now, we're kind of elevated and we're above the kitchen garden level.
Where you're sitting now, you're currently above. But then you say that on the other side of the outer wall, that's higher because that's a retaining wall.
On a certain part of the arcaded wall, that goes into woodlands.
Yeah.
Other walls are just open directly onto fields.
Yeah.
So you're on quite a bit of a slope then, where you are.
We're slightly higher up than other land around us, but not steeply sloped.
No, we're not a sloped garden as such, but there are different levels. So, like where we are now, we're in the house, and to one side, this is the part of the garden that isn't walls. It's like a little field, which is where our cutting garden is. That is higher up than the kitchen garden, which is behind us. So straight away, you get one lovely view because you can stand at the walls here, which the visitors quite often do, or just looking through the window, you can see the whole of the kitchen garden, which is lovely.
Oh, that's so cool.
And then we do things like, which would have been what you would have done back in the Tudor times, they would make a mount. So if you've got a mount, then you go on your mount and then you can see over the wall. So we have a mount in the kitchen garden.
Oh, cool.
Create a viewing platform.
And we have a viewing platform as well.
We have our own sort of in the corner that looks over the kitchen
which
garden.
is in the corner of that one.
Yeah.
So the viewing platform isn't on the mount, that's a separate vantage
this
point.
is different.
Okay.
That's in the corner of the big garden. So the visitors can, well, not just visitors, us, you go up there and then you look into the kitchen garden. And then that gives you a really lovely view of the geometric
the beautiful
geometry
of it.
The arcaded wall itself is actually on a raised terrace, so the orchard area, as we said, is designed or constructed like a small valley. So the ground in front of the arcaded wall is about probably almost 2 to 3 meters higher than the middle of that garden. So again, you can stand up there and look down.
That's a lovely view.
So within it, I mean, even though the walls are protective and enclosure, you still get lovely views.
You do, and you can tell that must have been what they were thinking of originally, because I mean these walls, we are aware of some of the history. The couple at the time was so in touch with what was going on in the main garden design, like Francis Bacon and so on, 400 years ago. And so when you're on that terrace with the arcades behind you, you can see out across the top of the kitchen garden, can't you? And you'd see across to what would have been their estate. And then if we ever manage to do the arcades, then you'll have a terrace on top of that. So when you go up there, the views are incredible, aren't they?
That sounds amazing.
Yeah, it is amazing.
So you're saying a bit about the history. So it was built 400 years ago.
The present walls they were probably constructed in the early 1600s. So there was a couple living in Harefield Place at the time, and that was Alice, Countess of Derby. And actually that's Alice Spencer, so she's a distant relation to Diana. And then she was married to Sir Thomas Egerton, and he was the Lord Chancellor at the time. So they were really well-connected people. That Elizabeth I, he was obviously working for the Queen as Lord Chancellor. So she visited right at the end of her reign. And they had John Donne, the poet, was his secretary, which is just inconceivable. So they knew Francis Bacon. So they knew what was happening in gardens, the Renaissance designs from Europe, because the Renaissance ideas came here probably about 100 years after. We were a little bit behind what was happening in Europe. So that's where they would have got their ideas from. So it's incredible, really.
And the main house that goes with that estate, where is that?
That went.
That's demolished.
That's all
demolished. In 1813.
It burned down for the second time in the early 1800s, and got demolished. So.
Why was it burning down all the time?
Sabotage. Sabotage of some sort.
Candles, probably.
Espionage.
Smoking in bed, I think, was one of them.
Too many of these and too much of that.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the reasons why we have these different levels, like outside here, because the soil in this field area is very, very poor, because it's largely probably demolished manor house underneath.
All right. So a lot of rubble.
Yes, a lot of rubble,
Does that mean you're able to salvage some good brick and stone from that for your walls?
Very occasionally, but a lot of it is obviously got mortar attached to it, so they're generally broken bricks.
More or less
get very much abuse out of it. So,
Then, would you like a shed or a greenhouse? If you had to choose one, which would be the one?
Well, it's got to be a shed for me, because I've got so much stuff to put anywhere.
And a greenhouse for me. At the moment, we have quite a lot of sheds. And I have this amazing polytunnel, which isn't like a normal polytunnel.
We saw
It's like a
combination
of both with stained glass windows and lots of chimes or tunes in the roof.
So cool.
But we're intending to build. Now, here's a dream. It's our glass house, a proper one. It's going to be an earth-sheltered glass house. So it's going to be lean-to against the wall behind us here. And that will be set into the ground. And at the end will be a small shed. So it's like a double thing.
Yeah.
So the little shed will be my hidey hole.
So how far set into the ground is something like that?
It'll be about 1 metre down, so all of the sort of the growing area will be more or less lower than garden level. So You can, again, the levels that we've got outside do allow us to do that, so we can come into the lower level and build things up around us. So
and it makes your temperatures equable.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
I was reading about these sunken greenhouses, actually. In fact, Sweet Peas, because you were telling me about the Romans and their greenhouses.
Yes, this is cool.
Then I was reading how they also did these sunken ones. Use this kind of translucent stone on top. But that's by the by. When you come up with an idea like a sunken greenhouse, is it generally Kay who comes up with the idea, Patrick goes, right here, this is how we do it? Or how does it work?
More or less is that, yes. Kay has the ideas. I work out how to build them then.
Oh, God, this is a dream.
And then she saves the money, and then I spend it.
We bounce off each other. He's the thing that's so amazing about Patrick. So I'm letting get swollen-headed here. Is that he never ever poo-poos an idea. So I get teased by the family because I have crazy ideas all the time. It never stops.
Yes.
And he will always give them proper consideration, and then we work them out. Yeah. And then some of the crazy ideas are Patrick's. So he's got encouraged, I think, to be more crazy now. Really.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
But he measures it all out and sorts it out properly. Yeah.
So you design it, measure it out, Patrick, and who does the actual physical building? Is it both of you, or do you bring someone in?
We do most of it ourselves. I'm not good enough to do brickwork at the moment, but everything else I will do: concreting, timber work, block work. I can do that. So.
Absolute dream. Seriously,
the girls are very practical. Our 3 daughters. They all still live here, and one of their partners lives here. So all the girls also will drive a dumper, mix mortar, make cement. Yes. They put the roof on the cafe. They'll drive a digger even. It's quite funny, really. They're all musicians, and Aideen, who you've already met, is a harp player. So we've now discovered that harp and digger driving, they work well together. They both have a lot of pedals, yes. So she's a good digger driver.
Of course.
So they have to be careful, but we do work very physically here. Yeah.
Well, and talking of that, I read, Patrick, you had a bad accident at Church Gardens. Was that from the work you were doing?
Self-inflicted, I'm afraid. I fell off a roof or fell off a ladder. And broke my leg and ankle very badly. So yes.
Is that still causing problems, or is that all fake?
It is causing major problems. It's they've not been able to sort it out, and it's affecting my other leg now. So I'm waiting for more operations. So we'll see how we go.
He is remarkable. How I think it is certainly something as an advert for if you've got something that really occupies your mind that you want to do. It's amazing how you overcome these things. But Patrick never stops doing things. It might be quite difficult for him to walk. He has some supports on his legs, but he is in quite a lot of pain most of the time. But it never stops him. He's unbelievably hardworking.
Just do things a bit slower now.
A bit slower.
Yeah.
We're still doing
more carefully as well.
Yeah, a bit more carefully. I'm
so
terrified of him on a ladder.
Oh no!
Yeah.
You're not going up ladders still, are you?
He does still go up ladders. Yes.
Of course.
So what actually happened? Did you just forget the crash mats, or how did you...
No, I just lost my balance and I jumped off and just landed very badly. So
he didn't go down very far, but he just landed awfully.
So, you didn't do a James Bond
It was
move.
Literally on the day before New Year's Eve, so it was middle of winter, very cold, and probably a bit tired and all the rest of it. So it just
So you take your parachute these days.
Always have the parachute. We're going to ask you 5 ornamentals, 5 of your favourite ones.
This
hard to narrow down.
This is very, very hard. So, I mean, my favourite things are all quite sort of normal, ordinary things. And one of the things I really love are polyanthers and auriculas. And there's quite a nice thing that before I even had my own garden, I would like to buy a pretty polyanther. And then I collected them, and then they all got planted out and they became very large. Yes. And something that happens to them now is because our large garden, it's actually a cob nut nuttery. So it's historic
cool.
in its own right. So when the manor house was knocked down, they were using it all productively. So they planted cobnuts in that big Renaissance pleasure garden. They just avenues of them through everything. And other important gardens have cobnuts. There is a connection to the polyanthus coming up. And I discovered that Gertrude Jekyll and then Vita Sackville West, they both had cobnut orchards at Munstead Wood and Sissinghurst. And they underplanted them with hundreds, possibly thousands of polyanthus. Now, a lot of this now, I think it's just historic. They're old photographs which I've come across. And apparently polyanthus and cobnuts, they like each other. They enjoy growing together.
Oh, right.
So I've been creating these polyanther beds underneath my nut trees, and where we've had to take, some nut trees have had to come out because they were planted straight the way through a Renaissance terrace. And it's not easy lifting a 200-year-old cobnut tree because it's all masses and masses and masses of poles. And so they've kind of been moved around the garden and heaped up earth around them, and then I've got polyanthus all over them. So mine don't carpet the whole orchard, but they're in areas. So in the spring there are these fantastic polyanthus which I love, and they last for ages. And the other thing, of course, that links to them is auriculas. So we've made an auricular theatre. So we have a little auricular theatre as well.
What do you mean auricular theatre?
You know, like a wall, isn't it?
Yeah, so an auricular theatre is like ornamental shelving that is used to display the auriculars, so the beautiful sort of ancient polyanthus that have like the pastel shades and the different colours and so on. They're absolutely beautiful. And lots of big houses have different types of auricular theatres. Some of them are really large. So we've made one in the corner of the kitchen garden out of recycled bits. And then they're in old clay pots. And then, so obviously they bloom, and you can put like a little old picture frame, you know, like a gilt picture frame, and you can set a pot in the middle and it looks as if it's being displayed. It's very pretty.
I love that.
That's one of the things I really love is the polyanther auricular family. So
what a great idea.
Number one.
What would be your second one?
Well, again, these are quite standard thing. I really love irises.
I love irises.
So I've got all different types of iris. I think irises are just so beautiful. So I love the little teeny weeny ones. So they are, is it reticulata, the little dwarf irises?
Yeah.
So I've got them. I've got some alpine beds, and I've got them growing in there. So coming through with alpines and in the gravel, which is really lovely. I've got Dutch irises. And I've got bearded irises, which are amazing. They're just such
What are the Dutch
curious.
irises like?
The Dutch irises are the more standard one that you can get them because I've got very used to buying my plants in large amounts from Parker's catalogue, for example. You can buy like hundreds of bulbs, and it's really quite reasonable. So the Dutch iris, they're not as big as a bearded iris, but they're obviously bigger than a dwarf. But they're very colourful. And then the different colours, they tend to come up in succession. They don't all seem to come up after each other. So there's one in particular which is called Bronze Perfection, and it's just perfection. It's really lovely. And then as you know about bearded irises, so they're very curious looking things and very dramatic. And then there's all the irises in the pond. So I have so many varieties there, and I did go a bit mad because the supplier of aquatic plants, in fact, after I'd done the order, they phoned us to double check that we really did want that many plants.
Oh, really?
Are you sure you want them?
Put too many zeros on the end.
Yeah, too many plants. But no, I fitted them all in. But there's about 14 different varieties of iris.
They're real spreaders, aren't they, in the pond?
Yes, but they're in. They are.
Baskets.
There is a degree of restriction going on, so they're in the biggest aquatic baskets, and they're heavy things, aren't they? Putting all of those in was quite a challenge. But obviously, all of the plants you put in the ponds are so vigorous. So it is a bit of a survival of the fittest. But the irises are fine. So they're just, as you say, they're spreading in their basket. And then they move out into the water as well. So,
what's your third ornamental?
Now, what did I made a note? Oh yes. Now this is simple. Again, I'm a simple person. One of in my borders, as I've done each border. So from when we finished doing the walls around the kitchen garden, which was a major thing, it then meant I could put borders in by the walls, because before that, obviously, there was no point.
Oh, so bliss. Putting in those borders must have been such a joy. Just this blank canvas.
Oh. Totally. And so they're planted out in sections which are worked out. And largely started off with tiny things from the Parker's catalogue. But one of the plants I really love is Russian sage.
Oh,
so I don't know if you want that. What is it? Perovskia? Is that what it's called? But me and the bees love the Russian sage, and so do the visitors. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's in the planting. There's 6 sections of planting, and you get this lovely lilac blue. And you just want to touch it, although you've got to be careful because it's always covered in bees. Because it's all soft and lovely. So that's a bee magnet. So
is that still flowering now?
So many bees. It's still not exactly flowering, but it still looks all lovely and silvery, doesn't it? It must be flowering a bit, because I'm still having to sweep up underneath it a bit, because otherwise I get into trouble with my sister-in-law on the path.
Not on my path. What's the climate like in your garden with all that protection from the walls? What do you have there?
It is quite mild.
Good. Yes, it is good. It is protected. And we're quite mild here anyway, because we're near Uxbridge, so it's southeast. It's quite dry here usually. It hasn't been dry this year.
It's well draining as well. It's on a sand subsoil, so it's well drained.
Right. However, this was built in the first place. It's incredible because you can walk on the ground quickly, can't you? It's very good. So the soil, especially in the kitchen garden, is really, really good. Yeah. So Russian sage, yes. Yeah, and then gorgeous. In my vegetables,
you've got
2 more.
5 if you're.
I've got 2 more. Yeah,
2 more.
So it's all right. I know I'm on ornamentals, although I said vegetables, because I companion plant. So my vegetables are full of flowers. You see,
yes,
probably because I was growing veg here for 10 years before we could do the borders, because the walls weren't done. So all my flowers ended up in the vegetables, so I companion plant everywhere.
Oh, that's lovely.
There's loads of things amongst them. Probably the most cheerful, colourful, beautiful orange is the Californian poppy, which it seeds everywhere, and beautiful. It's lovely. And at the same time as that, you've got things like the borage is out. I allow my chicory to stay where it is and be a perennial and put up sky blue flowers as well.
Oh, they're blue flowers,
and you've got love in a mist and all of these things all merging together, but you've got that amazing orange of the Californian poppy, and everybody loves it, don't they? And all of this lot self-seed, so that's all jolly good. So that is another great favourite. And then I think the last thing was the dahlias. So we have lots of dahlias, and I've always, I suppose I'm an old-fashioned girl. A lot of these plants that we have here now, they were really popular. Then they went out of fashion. And as far as I'm concerned, they've always had a close place. Because my grandparents would have grown dahlias. And I get donated loads of dahlias, don't I? So people will arrive with like a carrier bag, our visitors or friends, and they'll just end up, they've been digging stuff up that have become overrun in their garden.
Yeah.
So they arrive with a carrier bag full of mud and some tubers and say, do you want these? Because I was going to get rid of them. Oh, yes, I'll have those. So I don't know what half of them are, but we have hundreds of dahlias.
Oh, wonderful. So and do you put those everywhere or just in the kitchen?
They're in the kitchen garden in display beds. And we have tulips in before that. And they're in the cut flower garden. So now Aideen is more organised with her dahlias. So she does know generally what they are. But anything that's beautiful and big and they're just fantastic. They don't even look real, really.
What's a favourite variety?
A favourite variety? Well, something like Thomas Edison is obviously an amazing one. So that's a really dark purple. There's all the different ones that are bishop of this and bishop of that.
Yeah,
so
I love those ones.
And bright
Bishop's Children.
Very nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's another one. It's a single one, a single flower called Flame. That's really, really lovely.
Mm-hmm.
So they're up Golden Scepter. That's like, I think that one's a decorative dahlia that's partly a bit like a pom-pom. But they just cause... I mean, all the visitors love them, don't they? Children love them. They're just beautiful. Really,
I'm amazed they ever went out of fashion because there's so much variety. And sure, that not all dahlias are to everyone's taste, but the thing about them is there's something for everyone. Surely that you can get.
There is.
There
definitely is.
Them. Yeah, we're big fans.
And
we had a similar thing where we have in our pom-pom dahlias, we've got a lot of bees in at the moment. Because like you say, Patrick, they have a long flowering season. And our garden, that's the main colour right now. That and our salvias. Really
Definitely.
Perfect.
And cosmos
but we've got
as well.
bees in the pom-pom ones.
Yeah.
But we had a neighbour who also came around with this huge tray of tulips. She said, I've dug all these up because she wanted to start growing potatoes for some reason.
Oh, right.
Yeah, instead of dahlias.
She could have eaten those.
Yeah, exactly.
We said, we'll take those. She said, I don't know if they'll be all right. And we thought, well, whatever, we'll shove them in the ground and see what happens. And we still get surprised. Only last weekend we got surprised by this incredible orange pom-pom dahlia. So I had no idea existed. And it just, in this bleak time of year, this flash of colour really makes a difference, doesn't it?
Well, especially in the type of light that you have at this time of year. So if you've got a bit of late afternoon sun at this time of year,
I love it.
Those colours are, especially surrounded by walls, it's just gorgeous. The colours are just gorgeous, really gorgeous. So I think have I managed to find
now you can go onto your 5 edibles. Don't worry. Now I'll let you go onto that.
Well, that's difficult as well because I've got 56 beds in my vegetable
Of course,
garden.
Exactly. So I don't know how you're going to do this. Divided by 5
and then you've got the
6.
forest garden as well. So the forest garden is full of edibles as well. So what did I say? I started with butternut squash. So we can't not have them.
No.
So outside the polytunnel is the pumpkin patch, and that's surrounded by organ pipes. And we grow loads of butternut squashes. So last year's harvest, I had 70. And I think we had the last one up only a couple of weeks ago. So they store well. So
many questions.
We eat a lot.
How do you store them?
Well, no, before the storing, first of all, are you
point.
growing your butternut vertically or just sprawling on the ground?
They're in a patch, so they're not vertical. This is the one bit, you were asking about polythene earlier. That part has still got its polythene because I grow them through the polythene, but it's got gravel over the top now. And now I have like little bits of drainage pipe pushed into each of the holes. So that holds the gravel back. And then I top them up with compost. And I grow my plants separately inside first, then I plant them out, and then off they go. And they're hopefully restrained. I mean, they're in there by pumpkins, and they're in with pumpkins as well. And hopefully the organ pipes hold them back. But sometimes, you say about vertically, they escape and they go out, and you end up with a pumpkin up a tree. So I've had a big pumpkin in a cherry tree, which has been very amusing.
We had a pumpkin tendril in our plum tree, and we didn't notice it. We walked under it for ages, and then I was sitting on the terrace, and I just sort of stretched and looked out. What's going on?
That's a big plum.
I've never seen it before. That's huge.
So then, my next question is: how many plants are you getting 70 butternut from?
Yeah.
Well, I think there's 49 holes in the pumpkin patch, and at least 2/3 of them will be my butternuts. So probably more than 30, I would think.
So 30 butternuts, you're getting 70 butternut.
Probably more, 35 or 40.
And then
maybe, 35.
Do you subscribe to the square foot style of gardening, or are you giving plenty of space between each plant?
To be honest, I do.
There's about a metre between them. Isn't
well, they've got quite a lot of space. With spacing, I have always tended to religiously follow like the RHS vegetable garden displays. I believe that's what Monty always uses, and the fruit garden display. But I do now realise it's perfectly all right to plant things a bit closer. So quite often things are closer. But the pumpkins are fairly well spaced. But it doesn't matter because they just all go everywhere. They go up the organ pipes as well.
Yeah, we should explain for anyone listening who didn't see the programme, you have these beautiful old organ pipes from the local church, was it?
Yeah, next door,
that you've then painted?
No, they're just...
That's their colour, yes.
That's how they came.
Painted,
oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
One set was originally painted from inside the church, so they've got decoration on one side.
Yeah, stunning.
Yeah, that's where they came from.
And you've got them... Describe how they're displayed in the garden.
Just vertically in little groups. So a lot of the smaller ones probably range from maybe a foot tall to about 4 foot tall. So they're just stacked on the inside of a fence that goes around the pumpkin patch. And
so what came first, the garden or the pipes? Did you have the pipes in storage thinking one day when we
had
the
pipes in storage?
We've had the pipes for a long time because we've rebuilt the organ. We salvaged the organ because it was being disposed of, because they're quite often scrapped because nobody wants them. And because I'm the music coordinator in the church, I suggested to Patrick, this is the one time I'm sure he regretted agreeing, could we rebuild it in the house? So for years, we were trying to get this organ rebuilt in the house. And about half the pipes are in an organ, in a room, in the house. So you can play the organ in the house.
That's a wake-up call in the morning.
The rest were surplus to requirements. They weren't very good organ pipes. And then Patrick said, well, what are we going to do with all these organ pipes? And then that's when I started suggesting things. And the last thing was around the pumpkin patch. And the whole of the fence they're arranged like they would look like in the organ, with them up in their different heights, aren't they?
In their order.
That's
and
really
then
pretty.
Patrick and Diane made a sculpture in the middle of the big ones, and it goes around in a spiral. So they created that in the middle. So it's an unusual pumpkin patch.
Yeah, it sure is. And then my final question about your butternut. The reason I'm asking is because I love butternut, and although we grew ours vertically this year, and we've got some gorgeous, good sized butternut, the best sized butternut we've had.
Very happy with them.
But not as many fruit as we would have hoped.
This year.
So are you feeding through the year? What are you doing with them?
No, I mean, they have the compost at the beginning because I make all of my own compost. And so they get a bit, because they're in the same, they don't rotate. They're always in the pumpkin patch.
Yeah.
So they get their new compost every year. And the crop will vary year by year. So last year, getting 70 is good. That was a good year. This year, I haven't brought them in yet. I think there's about 50. So some of them are really big, but some of them are quite small because I think the weather was just, it's not been great, has it, really? Yeah.
So you're doing what Monty does and cutting quite late in the season. You cut off any of the longer tendrils and any of the smaller fruit because there's you just keep it all on. You don't
let
them
go.
Yeah. That's what I like to hear.
Everything is allowed to go.
Easy. Making
all about low maintenance.
No, they do what they like. Yeah.
Okay. Great.
And my final question was, how do you store them? Because obviously there's going to be a lot. What do you do to store them?
Well, first, they ought to come in now. So they'll go on the bench in the polytunnel. So that is theoretically, they then get some sun and their skins harden a bit more.
Yeah.
And they really need to be stored somewhere that's frost-free, but not too warm. Not too cold, not too warm. And at the moment, the ideal place is the outer vestibule, if you like, of our outdoor toilet. So there's a set of shelves. It's not actually in the toilet, but there's a set of shelves in like the bit
we wouldn't
before
judge
you go into it.
No.
And I put them there. So they're all stacked, aren't they? Yeah. So it's quite a talking point for visitors when they go in. They can look at the bushes.
But for me, just a talking point is that you've got an outdoor loo. That sounds fantastic.
Yeah.
Is it with running water or is it a composting loo?
This one's a normal loo.
It's a normal one.
Okay.
A compost one might be in the dream garden. There you go.
Yes. That would be my dream garden for sure.
Yeah. What would be the second edible plant?
Oh, yes, chilies. So I grow lots of chilies in the polytunnel. And this year, I won't read out what they all are, but they have amazing names, don't they? I've got 23 different varieties of chili growing in the border in the polytunnel. And I was a bit worried about them because every year chilies have done well. But this year, and I'm afraid this is probably because of changing to peat-free compost. So with peat-free compost, I was mixing them all up to try to get the best growing medium I could do. But there were some plants I don't think they liked it very much. So I've got to look at it again for next year. And the poor chilies, they went in early. They barely grew at all for almost 2 months. They were tiny. And I thought, I don't believe this. I thought, right, they're going in the ground anyway. And then I just kept praying. So I just kept sort of talking to them and saying little prayers and saying, look, please, chilies, you've got to grow. And eventually they did. So now they're really big, but they got off to a bit of a late start, but they've got plenty of chilies on them. But now they've got to ripen. But yeah, there's lots of them and they're now quite big. And lovely. I quite often, apart from using them fresh, I quite often dry them and make chili powder. So chili powder then goes in things in the cafe. So
really?
It's our own chili powder. It's a bit powerful.
Yeah, is it?
It's very small amounts.
And is your tea room, do you use all the stuff from your veggie garden in the tea room?
We use anything that's available. So we've had a lot of butternut squash soup, basil. Of course. I provide them with all their basil. They will have things like tomato, lots of herbs. And what else would they have? Oh, lots of fruit. But not everything. I mean, I think I said that on the programme, that although it sounds idyllic, the thought of being self-sufficient, that's not really that practical.
Tricky,
you do your best. You just eat well, really.
Yeah, really, really well. And loads of nutrition
really
as well.
Yeah. So that's the chilies.
Lovely.
And then I've put down tomatoes because they just are incredible. Yes. So they grow down the middle of the polytunnel and they're all full of flowers. They have sunflowers growing in them. They have ipomea growing in them, and they're allowed to grow to the ceiling, and they don't have anything cut out of them. They're just growing.
Okay.
A forest of tomatoes.
The leaves. No. And are you attaching them to the top of the polytunnel with string, or what supports do you have for them?
Patrick.
We've got
Patrick's
built up a bit of a timber frame inside, so
very sturdy.
Oh, okay.
So they've got plenty of support, plenty of place to climb.
It.
So
yes,
wooden frame.
They do need it.
Yeah.
So they're very big, and I've got 25 varieties of tomato.
Crikey, Kay, you don't do things by half.
It's fantastic though.
It is nice. So do you have all the different colours? We've got a lot of the purple ones at the
different
moment.
sizes, different colours. I really do like the big tomatoes. I love Country Taste. That's a really good one.
Oh, okay. Have you still got them on the vine now?
Yeah, they're in the tunnel. They can stay in there till Christmas. And even then, I might bring them in and then they'll just sit on the windowsill here and just ripen off. And it's surprising how well that works, really. But
and what are you doing with all your tomatoes? Tomato soup.
It's not been too bad yet this year. We've been consuming all of them. That's the ones that, and some of them are consumed by natural things that have sneaked into the polytunnel and had a nibble. But so far we've eaten them all. And then if I've got a lot, I might, when I'm cooking things like spaghetti bolognese or anything with a tomato-based sauce, I don't even bother to make them into a tomato sauce. They just loads of tomatoes go in and it will get switched up.
Do you have a horticultural background? Okay, I know you obviously got your music background, but have you done any training?
I did one little online. I did my RHS general exam when I came out of Guildhall because I was finding the whole idea of being a freelance player. I thought, do I really want to do this, or would I rather do somebody's garden? So I started doing that and I got that, which was lovely. But then I got quite busy with my playing. So I just talked to people in the orchestra about gardening. So I haven't had a training, but as my daughters will tell you, I am a bookaholic. So The place is full of books, thousands of books. So
and also you learn so much by having your own garden, especially one that you've created from scratch.
Absolutely.
Sort of learning I think Monty's talked about that in some of his articles in the Garden as Well magazine about
definitely,
having the formal qualifications versus on the job experience. I guess it's like an apprenticeship.
Practical
isn't it?
is good.
What's your fourth edible plant?
I've put down raspberries because I love raspberries, and we have a lovely fruit cage here. And probably one of the first fruit that was in the garden were some lovely raspberries, because they were going with a friend of mine. She was actually taking them to the dump because she'd had some raspberry canes at the ends of her garden which were not thriving. It was too shady, and she was getting rid of them. And then she said on the way, "Do you want them?" And I said, "Yes, please." So I ended up with these anonymous raspberry canes, which we've had for quite a few years, really. And they were the first things that moved into the fruit cage. And I've got lots of other fruit in there as well, which is really good. But those raspberries, we don't really know what they are, but they're very prolific, and you get raspberries from early till late, and that's very good.
Oh, perfect.
And I grow lots of things that are like raspberries in the forest garden. So many things are related to them and to the blackberries and so on. And there are different types of raspberry as well. So I have like a Siberian raspberry, which cools around, and then there's a ground cover raspberry, which you can even tread on, according to Martin Crawford. When I went to his forest garden, he said, "You can tread on this." I didn't like to, but it's still all right. So you can tread on it. Not the actual raspberries, but the plant, the leaf, the branches. And then there's the lovely Japanese wineberry, which is like a type of little raspberry or blackberry. And we have badgers at the garden as well. So as long as I get to them before the badgers do, because they like them too. But they are delicious.
Your forest garden, where's that compared to the house and the rest of the layout? Is that within the walls?
That's in the big walled garden.
Right.
So you've got, on one side, you've got the arcades. And then on the opposite wall, when we restored that, the whole area in front of that, I started by making this big. It was 40 metres long to start with, about 7 metres out or 6 metres in places. And that's all planted out with forest garden plants, about 60 different types of edibles. And now I'm expanding. So I've got hugel culture beds, and I've got new trees on the other side. And I just this spring I put in 36 different apples going further on, and it's lots of things in there, but it's a baby at the moment. It's coming up to the original bit is 4 years old, but it's getting productive now. So I do forest garden safaris.
And are you still buying, and all those plants are being bought from this, what was it, Parker's? Did you say Parker's?
Oh no, Parker's, we've gone, but at this stage I still use Parker's, but if you're going to get those sort of things, you need to go to something a little bit more specialist, or it's like your aquatic plants. You wouldn't get them from Parker's either.
No, okay.
Amazing. So, I do use the Agroforestry Trust a bit, which, as I say, that's Martin Crawford down in Totnes.
Yeah.
Oh, lovely. Right, what's your final edible plant?
Well, the final one I put down peach, because there's nothing quite like eating your own peaches. And unfortunately this year that was not to be, because I've got several peach trees, and the best one is the Avalon, because that one doesn't get so badly affected by the peach leaf curl. And it produces a big peach. It's a good handful. And I can have more than 20, can't be on that. And they are fantastic. And it had a good crop on it, but unfortunately, I don't know quite when it was. Earlier in the season, it went wet and windy, didn't it? And it blew them all off.
Oh, no.
It blew them off before they were ripened. And so we lost them. So that's terribly sad. But
that's a shame.
When you eat those, there's just nothing like it.
If you could choose one tree, what would be your statement tree?
Well, with this, it's not exactly a statement. It is a tree that I just think I've always loved, and that's a medlar. So I love medlar trees. They are one of the quintessentially old English type of tree. I can remember one in a school where I was teaching. It was randomly growing outside in the grass, and I shouldn't think anybody even knew what it was. And this curious tree, and then I realised what it was and found out what it was. And I have one medlar here at the moment, which is full of fruit, and somebody's described it in a little book on medlars as a crooked and picturesque tree. It sort of looks quite sort of crooked and picturesque. But they're just lovely, and their blossom is really nice.
Yeah.
And the fruit is, again, it causes a lot of interest with your visitors, because a lot of people don't know what a medlar is. And the medlars themselves, although I am learning there with what you can do with a medlar, but I have found a book that is entirely about medlars. So
entirely
about medlars and
wow.
recipes and things. So yeah, I think I might try making some medlar chutney. That will be nice.
Oh,
yeah,
what sort of recipes are in there apart from the chutney?
Well, it's got all sorts. I mean, you can use it as I think you can make it into sort of preserves, and I think you can make a fruit leather from it, but you have to let them blet. That's the word, isn't it?
What's
so they
blet?
almost like bletting is when they go beyond ripe, so they're quite soft.
Okay.
And then you'd scoop out the flesh from inside, and it's very sweet. It tastes a bit like dates. So it's just amazing stuff.
Yummy.
Really.
Oh, wow.
So you could add it to like savoury dishes as well, I should imagine. Well,
yeah. If you kind of do the sweet and savoury tactic.
Yeah, sort of like tagine type things, I would think.
Oh, yes.
Would it be nice with cheese?
Oh, yes, I should say so. Especially the chutney, yeah.
Oh,
lovely.
Delicious.
And then I did think, I know that's not exactly like a statement tree. A tree that I do think is a fantastic statement tree is a monkey puzzle.
Yeah.
And
wow.
I have a tiny monkey puzzle.
Oh, do you?
Which we have. Yeah, we have things donated to us. So, and sometimes it's sort of a happy, sad thing that it might be because somebody has passed away and they want this plant to come somewhere.
Yeah.
And I have a little monkey puzzle that belonged to somebody that we knew, and it's only this big, but it's doing well.
How big are you saying? I couldn't see your bottom hand. Is that about a foot?
It's only about just over a foot, really. It's a little baby, and of course they can. Well, it's in my forest garden because eventually, probably long after I'm gone, it could produce nuts. But it's interesting that we visited this amazing garden, Biddulph Grange, up north. So worth a visit. And they were used in the planting schemes there in the middle of their display beds because they're so striking when they're young. And they still do it now. I think they let them grow up probably to a bit more than head height. And then when they've reached that stage, they are then dug up and moved into their foresty area. And then they start with a new one. And I think Patrick will agree with me, apart from the fact the garden was so amazing, these monkey puzzles that they've now got in their forest area are now full-grown, massive monkey puzzles. They are the most amazing sight I've ever seen.
They're
and now
aren't they?
they are endangered in Chile, where they come from. So to grow them here is, I think, a really good thing to do.
So in this garden, there's literally a forest of monkey puzzle trees.
Yes, well, it's a forest of various trees, but there's a lot of monkey puzzles in there.
Wow.
And I wish I could have stayed longer, really, because you could just sit underneath them and look up, and they are incredible.
Because they are bizarre, aren't they?
Yeah, so
extraordinary
branches. So extraordinary,
yeah. They're prehistoric, aren't they?
Yeah. Incredible.
Beautiful. Well, we can have that as an honourable mention.
Special mention.
Or do you want that as your statement
so.
tree?
No, I think medlar can be my tree. And then I think we should honourably mention the monkey.
Yeah,
we'll
honourably mention. Right. Well, the next question I'm going to ask, we've kind of already talked about this.
I think
Do you want a pond or a pool? And what plant would you like in that? So
it's definitely a pond for me.
It's a pond. It's a boat,
has to be a pond,
isn't it?
Yeah.
So it's a pond, and if it can be a pond you swim in, well, what can be more perfect than that, really?
Of course.
Yeah. So you wouldn't change anything about your current swimming pond? You'd have it exactly. It's gone as smooth as you. Cause the reason I ask this is because we've built ours, and we know so many lessons learned. Everything we would change about how we did it. What would you change if you could? If it was your dream?
I would have it bigger, if anything.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Always bigger.
Olympic
always,
size?
Yeah.
Once it fills out with plants, it does reduce, obviously, your water area.
What sort of size?
Probably double what I've got now.
Really?
Space
So
for
you
it,
would go Olympic?
Absolutely, yes.
Olympic pool.
Oh
Wow.
gosh, that would be big.
So that's the only thing you'd
swim, so
change.
it's not,
He
not
doesn't
for
swim.
that, for appearance.
He did buy me a little boat though to help with the weeding. But I'm very bad at rowing, so I go round
You
in
laugh
circles.
in the face
so.
of boats, don't you?
Yeah.
You just get in with your goggles.
Just get in there. And what would be the plant to go in this area if you could choose one plant? Yeah.
There's so many plants, but there is one plant that isn't in that pond. It's in the pond that's in the kitchen garden. And it's not even really officially a pond plant, but I've got it in the marginals. And I'm going to have to read you its name. It's Schizostylis coccinea, and it blooms kind of now, a little bit earlier than now. And every year that plant, and I have to look it up every year because it's such a different, and the variety I think is sunrise. That's easier to remember.
Yeah. Oh, there we go.
I have to look it up because I can't remember how to say it. And it blooms and I think, oh, I'd forgotten about you. And it's salmon pink and it's got like,
I love that colour.
Iris type leaves, but the flower, I'll tell you, it looks a bit like a large phlox flower. That's how I describe it. And it's a beautiful salmon pink and it's gorgeous. I would really recommend that. Not very. Again, probably about 60 centimetres, something like that. And you can grow it in a damp border. And I just have it in the water and it seems to really like it. It comes back every year. And it always is a bit of a showstopper, that one, because you look at it and think, wow.
Finally, what would be your favourite seating area, your favourite drink, and then your one final plant to have in that area to sit back and relax with?
And because there's two of you, we'll allow a favourite drink each.
Oh, that's nice.
Yes.
Well, Patrick was saying earlier, every time we create like a new feature, it's quite often got some seating in it, hasn't it?
Yeah, when we reclaim an area, there's usually a seat in there, and that becomes the favourite seat.
Yes.
For
it
a
moves
period.
around.
Completely relate to that. We're exactly the same. And then you just spend all your time there and you think, when did I last use that other terrace? How many seating areas have you got around your garden then?
Oh, we've probably got about 20 benches in there.
Yeah, there's lots of benches.
Yeah, so
lovely.
All in the kitchen garden, we've got a seat at every sort of meeting point.
You need that though. You can't have too many seating areas.
You do.
You have to experience the different views from every angle.
For sure.
Absolutely.
Of course.
We've got a lovely area on top of the mount, which we made into like a little paradise garden. And that's surrounded by vines. And that was a very, very popular place to sit. Mm-hmm. There's a little arbour in the middle of the forest garden. That's really nice.
Most gardens we go to don't have enough seats.
No.
I'm not just saying that you can't walk, but
true.
It's just nice to sit down and just take places in, really. So.
Yeah.
So for the purposes of your dream garden,
what's the absolute favourite one?
Yeah.
Well, if we're going to have a dream, because you're talking about the plants as well.
Yes.
And I think it's all right for me to say this. Am I allowed to mention treehouse?
Yeah.
We really want to make a treehouse.
Of course you do.
We know where it's going to go.
Oh, Patrick.
We have the tree.
He knows he's very on
the
board
ladder
with
as well.
This, yeah. It's going to have a sturdy staircase.
You're going to have a treehouse with a staircase?
We want to do a treehouse. Yeah, definitely. And
what tree is it going in?
It's a big ash tree, which is in the far corner of the orchard. But the views from there will be fantastic when you get up.
Really good.
That's an absolute dream.
That is
so
such
the girls
a big dream.
have always said, when are you making the tree house, from when they were little? So they're all still here anyway. So we will make the tree house.
We haven't missed out.
The grandchildren will love it.
Yeah. And so will the visitors.
When they come along.
And if it's got a sturdy staircase, it won't be any bar to you what age you are. You'll still be able to go up.
That'd be nice.
The plant that would go with it, I thought about that today, because down in that corner, it's where we're restoring the walls at the moment, and we've got an ancient yew up behind the wall on the corner,
Oh,
which is like defending the corner of the garden. And it's full of an absolutely enormous and ancient ivy. So this yew has got this massive ivy in it as well. There's ivy everywhere, and it's blooming everywhere. And
lovely.
our garden is home to ivy bees. We have thousands of ivy bees, and they live in my vegetable garden. So they go in the ground and they come out at the beginning of September, which is incredible. How they know, who knows? They know when the ivy's going to bloom, and out they emerge. And there's thousands of them all over the earth amongst the vegetables, and they're all in the ivy. So I'm sure the tree house will be surrounded by ivy and blooming, full of bees probably.
Oh,
so
what
there
a great
you go.
choice.
Oh, that's lovely.
And with this treehouse, how are you going to have it? It's going to have like a veranda on it, or is it?
It's definitely going to have a veranda, probably 2 levels.
Yeah,
so we shall see.
Yeah.
But,
and good supporting legs.
To test my carpentry skills.
Yeah.
So this is a multi-story treehouse.
Yes.
Oh
it'd be lovely.
All joking aside, when do you think this is going to be started and completed?
I would like to start it next year, because we're now clearing the bricks out of that area, because we're using them up.
Yeah.
So the space will be ready for redoing.
We have plans for that area.
To be part of it. So
How long would something like that take for you, Patrick?
No, once I get started, it'd probably take me 2 or 3 months to do it. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing. I look forward to seeing that when that happens.
We'll be
keeping an eye on your Instagram page then.
Yeah.
In fact, we should time our trip over once the treehouse is built, sweet pea.
Yeah. Yes, there we go. That's what we're going to do.
Yeah.
What are your favourite drinks that you'll be having?
Oh, I forgot
in the
about
treehouse.
In the treehouse.
Oh,
Chip.
I'm a very simple man. Just a beer for me. That's it.
Nice.
They're more exotic. They've travelled more than me. So.
Well, something that we do enjoy at the end of our Sundays when the garden then closes is we quite often have an Aperol Spritz, which is very nice to sit and have one of those by the ponds and relax. That's really nice.
Oh,
there's not many
lovely.
things I don't like drinking, really. So that's why.
Don't drink very much.
Aperol Spritz and a beer. And any particular type of beer, or just any beer?
No, any beer.
Any beer?
Yeah.
Any beer.
Okay.
Perfect.
I mean, there's a wide range.
Simple man. Yeah.
Whatever's in the fridge.
Yeah.
Okay.
Whatever. And it's ice cold. I'm just going to read through the rest of the dream garden. So we had wood garden with a kind of earth-sheltered glass house with a little shed at the end. Then your 5 ornamentals, we had polyanthus, auriculas, irises, Russian sage, Californian poppies, and dahlias. We had the Thomas Edison, flame, golden sector, and the bishop ones. Lots of the kind of main varieties. Then also your 5 edibles, we had butternut squash, chilies, tomatoes, country taste was one of your favourites, raspberries, peach, Avalon. Then your statement tree was medlar tree with a special mention to the monkey puzzle. And then finally, you wanted an Olympic-sized pond but that you could swim in, because the one that you had wasn't big enough.
It's 25 metres away.
With a Schizonidus cochineal sunrise in there, and then you're going to have a tree house with ivy, beer for Patrick, and an Aperol Spritz for Kay.
That's fine.
That's fine.
Good?
Thank
Sounds
you. Yeah,
perfect.
very good.
Beautiful. And we'll come visit soon.
Yes,
Oh,
when the
good.
tree house is there.
Yes, indeed. Housewarming.
Thank you very much.
Thank
That's
you.
been a good old chit-chat with Kay and Patrick.
Well, thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Been a
Thank you.
pleasure.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.